The love for football is evident, but it seems sometimes it takes the wrong turn. Athletes are not immune to passionate fans. From making legends like Ronaldo guest to stopping some of the biggest games in football, here are 10 football fan craziness ever. For more than 10 years, Lionel Messi has been under the subject of great dispute, where people actively participated arguing whether the GOAT is Messi or Ronaldo. It's become almost a rite of passage for football fans. As I said, you will either serve either CR7 or Leo, and once that is done, there will be no turning back. But one fan's reading this, obviously not a fan of Messi, try to insult the great player in the worst possible way. The time when he was supporting his team Panathinaikos in a Champions League clash against Barcelona, when his team was leading 3-0, he had to shower hatred signs against Messi on the live television there. But here's the matter with Messi: he does not obliterate memories without a trace. In the second leg, Barcelona's performance was devastating and they routed Panathinaikos with a 5-1 scoreline. Messi completely dominated the match, showing no part in advancing his team to a win. Especially the fan who had laughed at him before the match and called him all sorts of names was left speechless, as Messi proved too potent for everyone's ridicule. As a matter of fact, this is not the first time that Messi or Barcelona fans face such attitude from the opponents. But this time it was different, and Messi once again proved why he is of the all times, and in this game he had the last laugh. In the year 2000, football was left stunned at one of the most unexpected incidents. One of the finest examples was Luis Figo, who was adored in Barcelona, and at the time more than a mere footballer, by merely crossing over to Madrid, which is the greatest rival club, left the football fans shocked. Normally it was the highlight of the most exciting football season ever, and it was appalling when Madrid managed to prize Figo from the bosun of Barcelona. The first time Figo played at Camp Nou wearing Madrid's jersey, he was totally met with a hostile reception. The fans of Barcelona are absolutely furious at their management and did everything they could to show it. Some also took it a little farther. One of them threw a pig's head on the field as a sign of disrespect. Literally overnight, Figo moved from Messi to becoming the most hated man in Spain. However, Barcelona was not the only club to receive fans' backlash. Let us fast forward to the last match of the 2021-2022, and situation was similar with Manchester City again on the line. City was in desperate need of this win, which would secure them the league trophy. However, at the halftime they were trailing 2-0. The game was extremely intense, and as they fought their way back to a 2-2 score, then the pressure built up. At the same time, people heard whispers that in the last match of the 2021-22 season, when Manchester City played against Wolves, they have no other option left but to win. After first 45, City had it 2 goals down and saw their title chances fade away, unless a miracle happened. And with less than 9 minutes of normal time remaining, Ilkay Gundogan secured the victory with a goal and sent the stadium into complete delirium. The scenes were filmed and were memorable, but were even obscene sometimes. Not only that, but they were also quite literal. Many aficionados rushed onto the soccer field to celebrate a move that came with a ban that saw City receiving a PS 260,000 fine. Still, it must be said that the City fans would have paid this penalty with a smile. Employment practices liability cannot be separated from this concept, since practices that come with such joy can also cause loss of job, pay cut, demotion, unfair dismissal, or redundancy. As it used to be with the clashes of OGC Nice and Marseille, referred to as the Mediterranean Derby, it was more than just a competition, it was a fight for existence. Things got physical when Dimitri Payet approached the corner flag and felt the magnitude of enmity of the Nice fans. Therefore, when Payet started to lose his temper, things got ugly. The scenes were terrible, described as a black day for French football. This had to be stopped by the police, and both clubs were charged fines, not for that wrongdoing of celebration, but for hooliganism seen in the match. Both the teams were suspended, and as a consequence, they had to play in behind closed doors matches for the next several games, and they incurred a loss of more than EUR 500,000. This was almost 3 times more than what Liverpool fans had to pay for the premium Champions League final tickets in 2022, which was the reason that made them go over the top in most cases. Real Madrid and Liverpool were the 2 teams that were pitted against each other for the 2022 Champions League final in Paris, with only 7,500,000 admissions available. There was confusion on who would get a seat, and even though the match was start at 7 p.m., it started an hour late. Once entering the stadium, Liverpool fans quickly noticed that most of their fellow fans are in fact locked out. Since the authorities do not want many people to flock the stadium and cause a stampede, the security was restraining the fans. However, these people had come miles to watch their team, and when the doors were being shut in their faces, anger swung up. Many of them brooked no opportunity in forcing their ways past the barriers with an aim of watching that much anticipated match. It was indeed a mess, which again appears to be synonymous to Liverpool being associated with such incidents. which writes new history for the fans. The previous calendar year's Champions League final was dubbed as the outstanding chance of Liverpool, with the Jurgen Klopp. First, Mohamed Salah, who is one of the most important players of the team, had to go out of the field after Ramos treated him like a ball and broke his shoulder. Then it was time for Liverpool's goalkeeper Loris Karius to have a meltdown and make mistakes that handed victory to Real Madrid. As if things could not get worse for Reds, a fan exploited an opportunity and stormed into the field of play. On the positive side, his interruption could have prevented Ronaldo from scoring the 5th goal and thus writing a new record in the Champions League history. Ronaldo looked quite irritated by the person who enters the pitch, but this pitch invader was not like the one who wanted to harm Ronaldo as it was seen in the past. Territorial rivalry was on display when Aston Villa met Birmingham City in the highly charged fixture in the 2019 English football season. This match saw some unpleasant incident where Aston Villa's Jack Grealish was attacked by a Birmingham City fan, Paul Mitchell, few minutes to the start of the game. A sudden attack made everyone in the stadium look worried for Grealish, but he was back on his feet and scored the decisive goal, thus becoming a hero. Mitchell, on the other hand, was arrested and took his 2 weeks in jail. This probably helped in changing his behavior. Talking about excessive behavior of fans, there is one man who took football lookalikes for real to another level. If I asked you who this person is, you might be shocked how resources he devoted. Maybe you don't know his name, but if you look at his profiles, you'd likely take a second look. Fun fact, that is not Neymar, it's Soledad, a man who has made his profession out of being an impersonator of the Brazilian soccer player. Soledad, who has over 1 million followers on Instagram, has capitalized on this likeness to Neymar replicate down to the body tattoos. One might feel like they are more alike than different, and this will make your head spin as you try to tell the two apart. Soledad has emulated Neymar's walk to the last detail, and she even copied his poses. The difference should not come as a shock. The number of people that took a selfie with Soledad in Brazil may surpass those that took one with Neymar himself. It's so unbelievable to watch, and that doesn't appear to be something that he's ready to stop doing anytime soon. It may sound cliché, but it is possible to say that Brazilians are a passionate nation and often they act like real enthusiasts. For instance, a recent switching incident, the biggest heist in football history. The current rules state that the team which comes out victorious in the tournament will be allowed to keep the actual trophy in case Brazil was to clinch their 3rd trophy in 1970 FIFA World Cup. But in 1983, 13 years later, a group of bandits did the impossible that nobody have ever dreamed of. They must have watched Money Heist series and thought about taking the World Cup trophy, stepping into the future briefly. The future briefly. The thieves group managed to enter the cabinet where the trophy was stored, and the next day the whole country and the entire world was in a state of surprise. The trophy is missing even after trying so hard one couldn't find, and even to date the trophy is still missing. That was the bravest thieves ever had, and their theft is historically memorable. Such occurrences are among the factors that make professional football players to develop a perverted attitude towards their fans who may want to get close to them. As for running up to the person, one doesn't know what reaction they would get from the latter. It sounds cliché, but one fan learned that in the hard way this day. A fan probably received the biggest surprise of his life after he most probably angered Cristiano Ronaldo. It was previous year when Ronaldo still played for Juventus. He had come from a tussle match against Bayer Leverkusen and was making way towards the dressing room when this hysterical man ran him down from Bikanli Jariosunji. By the time the fan was looking to take a photograph, he chose the best wrong time and positioning. Ronaldo, more or less exhausted and eager not to face any more myths, hurried towards the figure thinking that it was up to some mischief. Joking aside, I don't think Ronaldo acted too badly here. He'd probably come from a serious game and wanted to cool off with some goal zone. This had to be capped off by this fan who seemed to arrive at the wrong time to make this observation. Here's a tip for next time if you want to impress Ronaldo. Note that you already subscribed to FC Freak and are an ardent supporter. Well, that's how you are going to get a picture with CR7 for sure.